Welcome to Your Team Sucks with your hosts, Brock,
And I got my head did for free by this stylist.
Aaron,
Tell me more about this Starlin Castro. Any relation to Fidel?
Phil,
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
and Peter.
Who haven't we offended yet? Just make a list of that. It's probably a shorter list.
Enjoy the show, bitches.
All right, everybody. I don't know what the hell's going on this week. I just showed up and this computer was on with these idiots to talk to about sports.
Hello.
So there's Brock. He's what I would consider the tall, dark, and handsome one.
Yeah.
And then there is Peter over there. Say hello, Peter.
Hello, Peter.
And we are sans Ginger this week due to I believe it was a red pants incident.
Ice bucket challenge. The red pants shrunk due to the ice water challenge, and he was a little embarrassed. He can't wear his red pants, can't do the show.
No, yeah, I don't understand what red pants have to do with sports, but alas, no red pants, no sports show. So anyway, this is Your Team Sucks. I think I forgot to mention the actual name of the damn show at the beginning.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. We haven't gotten canceled yet?
It's amazing because no one's paying us to do this.
Oh, right. We can't get
Yet.
I bet we could find a way to get canceled. I think we can do it.
This is the FCC. I think we appreciate your efforts. Don't ever do that again.
Yeah. Please take your shit off YouTube. We'd be the first people to ever be asked to take shit off YouTube.
Probably quicker to get canceled than we would to get sponsored.
The cats don't want you on their channel anymore, so if you could just go ahead and get off the cat channel, please.
There's too many people doing the ice bucket challenge. We've got a lot of videos to put up, and yours just it's honestly not good.
You're taking up space at this point.
Yeah.
So anyway, while we still have this show before we're asked to leave, let's do a show. So let's talk about some of the hot headlines that are going on out there in sports. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's time for headlines. The things you already know about, but these assholes are going to talk about it anyway.
You know, we could have just not had the sound effect. You didn't have to replicate.
I don't think we need a soundboard. We got Brock. That's all we need.
That was pretty awesome.
I did it for you. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so fresh off the press this afternoon would be what I guess is news. I don't know why it's news because, it's the Browns. But Manziel is not the starting quarterback. That one guy that used to back up Tom Brady is. And anyway, so I want to hear from each of you guys. What week, if at all, this year do you think we see Manziel start and they sit Hoyer down?
I don't even think it's going to be really any sort of doubt. If they go 0-2, which they very well could because they're the Browns, and obviously if Josh Gordon sits out for the entire season, depending on how Roger Goodell is feeling this week, assault, weed, whichever one he thinks is more important, I think if they go 0-2, we see him week 3. All it's going to take is one really bad week from Hoyer for all the controversy to start all over again. So I'm going to say week 2. Or week 3, excuse me.
I think we've seen this before in the past with the Tim Tebow pressure. What happens when there's a decent backup that the people want to see, regardless if he's good enough or not to play the position. You also hear a lot of owners and coaches talk about assessing teams in quarters, so that after 4 games they reassess where they're at from a team standpoint. So I would venture to say it may be week 5 before we see him, but if it goes tits up real quick, it could be sooner than that.
Yeah, and their first 2 games, it's worth noting, are at Pittsburgh and at home against the Saints. And then if you want to talk about 4, Peter, they've got a home game Ravens and away game at Tennessee.
That could be a 1-3 record.
That sounds like 1-3.
Yeah, 1-3 is a pretty good scenario there, I think. I mean, just because the Titans suck doesn't mean the Browns don't. So, anyway.
I would agree with that, yeah. Just because the Titans suck doesn't mean the Browns don't.
Yeah, that's true. They can both suck, and they can actually play to a 0-0 tie.
Yeah, they're a coin flip away from 0-4.
Yeah, so, I think they're going to get to Manziel pretty quick. They're not a Super Bowl contender, so Peter wins.
Woohoo!
I don't know why.
Good job, Peter.
There are no points awarded.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
So, okay, on to something that I guess it's a sports headline, but I don't know why we need to talk about this, but I guess it's required that you do it. So the Ice Bucket Challenge shit. And by the way, have you seen the compilation of people fucking that up?
Yes.
That is great stuff. Anyway, so that's the best thing that's come out of this, I feel. That and some money for charity or whatever the fuck. But, go ahead,
I was going to say, I think this thing is just about run its course now that every mom, daughter, and child on Facebook has done it. I appreciate the efforts, and I understand that it's raised a substantial amount of money, but I'm ready for the next Harlem Shake, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't appreciate the efforts. I don't care for your efforts. I don't want your efforts. I'm actually kind of mad that you're raising money for charity. Because really, if you really look at it, no one's actually raising the money for charity. They'll be like, hey, if you donate $100, you don't got to do this shit. They're like, oh, no, I'll just pour ice water on my head and then nominate 3 other fuckheads to do the exact same thing. And no money's ever given.
Well, they've raised, I think, what, $50 million?
Great, but if you would have asked every single celebrity who was going to be some sort of dickhead and do that inside their pool to actually donate, then maybe we wouldn't have just $50 million raised. Jesus Christ, Bill Gates did it, right? And that guy is worth more than every living human being in Cambodia.
That's probably true.
I'll have to look at my financial statement.
I called Cambodia
just real
today.
quick, 1 second.
I called Cambodia today, and they were like, "Oh no, Bill Gates, he's richer than all of us."
Yeah. Okay. Is there any way to make this thing interesting anymore?
Have you seen the Ronaldo one where he's like in his little underwear doing it? That thing is ridiculous.
The
soccer guy.
That thing
what
is
soccer
ridiculous.
looks like.
I would really like to see the Susan G. Komen Foundation do a thing where like 3 people send me pictures of their tits and I donate money.
I think this is a solid idea, Peter. We should just run with this.
No, it's a pretty good pyramid scheme, really, because they send you 3 pictures of tits, and then each one of them gets someone to send them 3 pictures, and then it's like you've got 12. I don't feel like doing math.
12 tits.
12 pairs of tits. And it's a pyramid scheme of tits.
It was just an idea.
This is the greatest pay-it-forward Haley Joe Osment memorial ever.
But yeah, I think Lou Gehrig would have been pretty pissed off about this whole situation.
Yeah. I mean, this is just fucking ridiculous. Like, that's exactly what he did. Did anybody get to see Derek Jeter do it? I at least appreciate, like, the captain doing it, you know?
Oh, why?
They got Michael Jordan doing it, and he's called out Phil Jackson and the entire 1992 Dream Team.
That's awesome, because you can nominate 3 people, and the Dream Team is only 3 people.
Well, Patrick Ewing can't do math, so you're not counting him.
Oh.
Moving on.
All right, so did you guys see this video of Steve Ballmer?
Oh my God, I did. The guy is insane.
By the end of it, he was a shade of red I don't think I've ever actually seen a human turn before. So obviously he's not a racist, but yeah, what the hell did you make of this? Is this going to be a good thing for the Clippers, or what kind of crazy shit does he come up with next?
I think the funniest thing is like, you know, obviously over like he's been with Microsoft, Lord, what, 30 years now? Rise, falls, peaks, valleys, all that good stuff. But what I thought was the funniest thing is when I was listening to some interviews about, you know, his introduction and everything, my favorite thing that somebody said is that he reminded me of a dark leprechaun, which just made me laugh my ass off. It's a mix between a man and a dark leprechaun.
I find it funny that the ownership fund that, you know, had the Roger Sterling fund before it had, you know, basically said this guy's too crazy to take care of the ownership of this team, and as the enlisted trust, we're going to sell it behind his back to somebody who's give or take just as crazy with a little bit more money. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of promotions he pulls out of there. Being that they're in LA, it's a big market, so I'm interested to see what he does. But yeah, he's like full bag of nuts.
Who knows though, man? He may be great for that team though. He may do kind of like Mark Cuban did whenever he first got in the league and just fuck shit up for the sake of fucking shit up, you know? Hey, I'm all for it, man. If you're a great owner, you're a great owner, and you got Blake Griffin who likes to dunk over cars.
And I did just look it up, and Roger Sterling is indeed the character that John Slattery plays on Mad Men, and Donald Sterling was the owner.
Sorry. Get my Sterling mixed up.
Yeah, wrong guy. You have fictional guy in the 1950s, or, well, I guess they both had the 1950s in common.
Probably both racist.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I don't believe that somebody actually wrote this, but I'll read it anyway. So the next headline would be, Jim Kelly has no cancer. Kurt Schilling does have cancer. Did Jim Kelly give it to Kurt Schilling?
I wrote that as a joke. I didn't actually say that there.
That's awesome. Okay, on to something real here. Le'Veon Bell and LeGarrette Blount, they're smoking doobies, so they got arrested. I guess it was today, which is Wednesday or something like that.
Yep.
And so now, what the hell do we got going on here? And do they get how much of a suspension or whatever are we looking at here? I guess it's both of their first.
So the details of it are they got pulled over at 1 o'clock with Le'Veon Bell driving his Camaro, and Blunt was in the front seat, and there was a female passenger as well. Everybody claimed it was their weed. There was like 20 grams of weed. So they basically took Le'Veon Bell to the hospital and drew blood to make sure he was tested positive, so they could charge him with driving under the influence.
Right.
So there's going to be, charges for that, and then there's going to be, suspension probably for both players. So it's interesting to see if they can use that as a positive test. I mean, obviously it wasn't mandated by the league, but they've got clear evidence that, the state's saying, yeah, we tested your blood, you came back positive for THC. So he may be screwed.
Is the first one 4 games whenever they test positive? Is that what it is?
I think it's a mandatory 4 games, but I think the commissioner can do more above and beyond to try and set a precedent here. But
he can do whatever he wants on that personal conduct policy.
But it's funny though that if he does test positive for weed and it's 4 games, it's the exact same thing that Orlando Scandrick got for taking fucking ecstasy.
Yeah.
One's legal in some states. The other one is. The other one is fucking ecstasy.
With ecstasy in your system, your body metabolizes ecstasy in like 12 hours. Did they test him at a rave?
There was something else in it, I think, that it actually caused him to test positive on it. So it wasn't just the mollies; it was something else in it.
Wow. Okay.
But how dumb are these guys? Like they have a game tomorrow.
And
you're riding around getting stoned. I mean, I understand like if it's March and you're not you're not playing, you're not even getting training done, you're riding around in Vegas doing something, but you're literally like either on your way back from the practice facility or to it, and you're blazing up.
It seems like there should be a rule that you're not allowed to hang out. If you're number 1 on the depth chart, you should not be allowed to hang out with number 2 at your position. Because
I'm gonna get this guy some shit.
Because
if both will get paid.
If both these guys are suspended, I think Dree Archer is probably, whoever the fuck that is probably the one that dropped the dime on him. Because now he's actually going to get a chance to play, whereas Dree Archer probably would not have otherwise. Neither would Teron Poole, Miguel Masonette, which I did not make up, Jordan Hall, Josh Harris, or Stephen Houston. That's the rest of the running back depth chart in Pittsburgh.
They sound good. They sound good. They're a running team. They're going to be great. They're going to be amazing. First 4 games, amazing.
Miguel Masonette.
Miguel Masonette.
Yeah. So Dree Archer is your starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers if these morons get suspended.
Fantastic.
So,
you guys want to move on to the trivia?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, and now it's time for stupid trivia. Let the guys show you how much you suck.
Again, we can just not do the sound effects.
You're doing great, Brock. You're doing great.
Thanks, Peter. Stop cutting me down, Phil. All right, so trivia this week. It was supposed to be Phil, but he's lazy and he doesn't have enough time to do anything other than sit there and complain. So I went ahead and took care of trivia this week. So your trivia this week, ooh, nice finger.
And I didn't lose trivia last week, and I would have owned both of you motherfuckers.
Yeah,
you lost. You lost via not showing up.
Yeah. Just like Aaron lost this week for not showing up as well.
And he gets to do it next week regardless. Okay, so today's trivia is going to be all about NFL Offensive Rookies of the Year. Okay?
Oh, good God.
So I'm going to go through a couple different things, buzz him whenever you think that you have the answer, and there will be a bonus point after we find out specifically who it is. So I need ring-in names. This is where you talk.
Oh.
Your name is Owen.
That's my ring-in name.
Okay. Phil, what's your ringing name?
Ah.
Oh, and This is not at all retarded. Okay. Are you gentlemen ready?
Oh.
Ah.
Already? Okay. What's your answer, O? Okay. Here we go. I was 1989 Rookie of the Year. I played 2 sports.
Ah.
Oh.
I got first.
Bo Jackson.
That is correct.
Woo!
Last one, or the last clue was Bo knows bitches, Bo Jackson. Okay,
What?
bonus point. Okay, bonus point. Are you ready? This is only for you. If you get it wrong, then Peter can steal.
Okay.
What was my number in baseball?
Was it not the same as 12?
Incorrect.
Oh.
Oh,
16.
that is correct.
Damn it.
It is 1-1. Bonus point for Peter.
What? Wait.
Shut up. You're sounding so stupid right now. What is my baseball number plus my football number?
Oh.
30?
Incorrect.
It's 50.
50 is correct. 16 is his baseball number. 34 is his football.
34.
Okay, so as of right now, it is Phil 2, Peter 1. All right, here's the next one. I was the 1999 Rookie of the Year. Fuck Peyton Manning. The Cardinals is where it's at. I played for the Colts, Cardinals, and Seahawks. Oh,
Edgerrin James.
that is correct. Okay, bonus point. What is my jersey number?
God damn it with the jersey.
23?
Incorrect.
I'm just going to keep guessing Jordan's number till I get it.
34.
Incorrect. It's 32, and it was 32 the entire time he played.
Damn!
32 for Colts, Cardinals, and Seahawks. Okay, it is 3-2 in favor of Phil. I'm sorry, no, it's 2-2 now, isn't it?
Yes.
Tie game.
Tie game. Okay. I was the 2012 Offensive Rookie of the Year. Go Bears! I claim to have never had alcohol once in my life. Them's your clues.
Oh. Alshon Jeffrey?
Incorrect. Phil, would you like to take a guess?
2012 that plays for the Bears?
No, just I said go Bears. See what I did there?
I got no fucking idea who you're talking
Okay,
about.
back to you.
RG3.
RG3 is correct. He played for the Baylor Bears.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Bonus point. Peter, since you got it right, you get the first guess.
I think I got it wrong first.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't get it.
America's about the comeback, kid.
Yeah, America. All right. What is my number for my racist team?
13.
Incorrect.
16.
Incorrect. It's 10, you dumbasses.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I don't know numbers.
I really suck at jersey numbers.
I don't know numbers.
I'm not a gay man like Aaron that cares about jerseys and jersey numbers.
Peter is up 3-2. Okay. Here's the first one. I raped a chick.
Ben Roethlisberger.
That is correct.
Yes!
That was so good.
The rest of the clues were my team has the most Super Bowl wins of all time. I need a burger. Rapeless burger. All right. Bonus point.
Ask him his number. He ain't got to know that.
No, I have no idea, actually.
Bonus point for Phil. From?
Miami of Ohio.
Is that the same thing as Miami University?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Good for you.
The University of Miami would be the one in Florida.
Fantastic. 5-3. Peter or Phil's up. All right, here we go. I was the 1993 Offensive Rookie of the Year.
You said 1993?
1993.
Okay.
I was drafted by the LA Rams. Aha. Hush that fuss. Everybody move to the back of the boat. That's
Jerome
Peter.
Bettis.
Jerome Bettis is correct. Okay. What are the two numbers of my jersey added together?
6.
Incorrect. Peter or Phil, would you like to guess? The two numbers added together.
10.
Incorrect.
55.
The answer is 9. He's number 36.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
He went to Notre Dame.
5-4.
Yeah, I got that.
Here we go. I am the 1997 Offensive Rookie of the Year. We won the Super Bowl with Brad fucking Johnson as our QB. Pathetic. Tampa Bay running back, number 28.
Oh,
Oh,
work done.
that is correct. 5-5. All right, for the bonus point. From?
Florida.
Wrong.
I'm going to need you to clarify.
No, that's not clarifying. That's a different college.
The University of Florida?
That is incorrect.
Still wrong. It was Florida. Florida State.
Florida State University is correct. It is 6-5 in favor of All right. I was the 1998 Offensive Rookie of the Year. Probably the best receiver of all time, despite Jerry Rice's dancing ass.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is correct. Final clue was my number was 84, then 81, then back to 84. All
He
right.
was 18 in there at one point, too.
Oh, yeah, he was 18.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Bonus
All
point.
right, so bonus 2 points. If you can name all of the teams that I played for, you have to name every one of them.
Oh, Jesus.
In order.
There was Minnesota, Oakland, San Francisco. Who am I forgetting?
You need 2 more.
I need 2 more. The Patriots
1 more.
and
Let me give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3,
who am I fucking forgetting?
1. You're fucked. Peter, would you like to steal?
I know he went back to Minnesota, but was he also a Baltimore Raven at one point?
Incorrect. Okay, the answer was Vikings, Oakland, New England, Vikings, Tennessee, San Francisco.
Tennessee. That's the one I forgot. God
Yep.
damn it.
All right, it is 7-5 in favor of a.k.a. Phil. There's 3 more questions left. I was the 2002 Offensive Rookie of the Year. Mr. Personality. They traded Champ Bailey for me?
Oh,
Oh,
Clinton Portis.
that is correct.
Good call.
Bonus point. What was my number?
26.
26 is correct. Tie
Oh, my
game.
God.
Tie game.
He went to the U.
Well, we weren't playing that part of it. All
I
right.
need the point, Brock. I need the point.
We've got 2 questions left. Tie game. 2006 Rookie of the Year. You ever tried to stand on 2 footballs before? That's just tough. You keep falling down. You keep trying to stand on.
Vince Young.
That's correct. The last clue was, it's me, radio. All right, bonus point. Name the NFL team that had me on their squad this year for all of 11 days.
Cleveland.
That is correct.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns signed him on May 1st and released him on May 12th.
You have a weird love affair with Vince Young, Phil.
No, I do not.
All right, we are down to the last question. Phil is up 9-7. 2009 Offensive Rookie of the Year. Man, fuck the Vikings. I'll go to Seattle.
Percy Harvin.
That is correct.
Woo!
And for the bonus point, from?
Percy Harvin went to Florida. The University of Florida.
That is correct. That is correct. Now there's one last bonus point, okay? Name all 5 starters for the Kansas City Royals right now.
No.
No. Okay, Peter, you get to steal, and it's worth 1 point per starter that you name.
Okay, you got Shields, Vargas, Duffy. I'm missing a right-hander.
You need one more.
Why is my brain not working?
Peter, just name a name. Just name somebody. It can be anybody.
I need to
There's
know.
actually a guy named Duffy on the Royals.
Yeah. Danny
Danny
Duffy.
He's good.
Jesus Christ.
Peter,
No, he's
name
not on the
Royals.
team.
Peter, I need you to say a last name out loud.
Can I steal one?
Bruce Chen.
Bruce Chen, he wins. That's over. See, Phil, you lost.
Yeah.
That would be fucking late.
Wasn't even late.
No, but you lost.
The other ones.
I have no idea who they are, but I just kept counting it as you were like naming names. So way to go, Peter. Peter comes
Yay.
back with a vengeance and beats Phil.
Yeah, I protest. I
No,
protest.
no.
Go ahead.
Phil wins trivia. Aaron's on for it next week.
I'm protesting.
I completely agree with you.
All right. All right. Well, that was kind of fun.
Yeah. So let's hop into what's next. Fantasy.
Next is fantasy, and Peter has prepared some fantasy opinions about some sleepers and compiled some information about who's in a contract year that you may want to look for in your draft or auction or whatever you do. And over to you, Peter.
Well, keep in mind this is all previous to us finding out about the entire Steelers running back situation. So anybody who has the Steelers RB 3 through 6 moniker next to their name, go ahead and keep them as a listed sleeper as well.
Which, again, is Dree Archer, Teron Poole, and Miguel Masonette.
Yeah, they may
Heavy
actually-
hitters. Heavy hitters.
You may see them sign somebody off the street here in a couple days.
First round draft picks for all of them. Edgerrin James now going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So looking at position by position, just a couple of names that I thought I'd throw out there. A lot of the sleepers that I like to look at are guys that are coming in either first or second year guys, but also some players that have been solid over the years but are kind of not getting the respect that they're due. And one of the guys I saw that was really dropping pretty quick for whatever reason was Phillip Rivers. His average draft position was 15 for quarterback and 105 overall. But keep in mind, this is somebody who was 4th in TDs last year with 32 and 5th in total yards. So
That's
if you're fourth,
amazing.
if you're 4th and 5th, shouldn't you be somewhere between 4 through 6 maybe on the listed for quarterback? But no, average draft position is 15. That makes no sense to me. The way
I'm
that
completely
he
with you on that, man. Like, that's crazy. I think what happened is that he had such a bad start to the year last year that everybody just, like, lost hope on the guy. Like, I didn't realize that he was 5th and 6th on those lists, or 4th and 5th on those lists. I thought he was lower, just personally.
Well, and Andy Dalton was the 5th best quarterback last year too, but he's 17 ADP this year. The question is, who would you take him over? So, Peter, tell me who, and some of these guys I would, but Peter, tell me which guys you think Rivers should be above that are above him in ADP. Russell Wilson,
I'd take him above Russell Wilson.
Me too.
Jay Cutler,
No,
I'd take him over Cutler.
I would
Tony
not.
Romo.
I wouldn't take him over Romo.
I wouldn't take him over Romo either.
Okay, anybody from Kaepernick, Ryan, or Foles?
Kaepernick and Foles.
Kaepernick, yes. Foles, no. But even Andrew Luck, I would probably take him over Andrew Luck.
Well, yeah, Andrew Luck's all the way up at number 5, so people are obviously thinking he has a pretty big statistical year this year. So, I mean, that's the thing, is there's probably, like, out of that group, I would probably only take Rivers over Wilson, maybe Kaepernick, and maybe, yeah, that's probably about it.
The
Peter,
thing I
what
like
about,
about
Peter, so RG3 or Rivers, who would you take?
Rivers,
Okay, Rivers or Stafford?
Stafford.
So you probably have Rivers in about the 8th slot. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, which moves him up 7 or 8 from where he is now.
Okay.
So I mean, if you look at the way that he was connected with Keenan Allen last year, they really started to get it going towards the end of the year. Those two could be a potent combination. So if you get Keenan Allen in rounds 5 through 7, somewhere in there, and you're in round 9 or 10, and you don't have a real solid quarterback, or maybe you pick Romo and you think, well, just for insurance purposes, I need to get somebody else who could be solid. You could take a Rivers and still get really good value later.
It could be good trade bait later on.
Yeah.
Whether you find a Cowboy homer or one of them blows up and you feel okay dishing one of them, it could be good value by going somewhere like Romo and Rivers,
All right, I'll give you another name I'm looking at fantasy quarterback sleepers is Teddy Bridgewater. And the reason I like Teddy Bridgewater is, one, He's got Adrian Peterson in the backfield, so there's going to be 8 guys in the box at all times. So it's going to have a lot of man-on-man coverage on the outside. And he's got some decent weapons. If you look at Cordell Patterson, Greg Jennings, and Kyle Rudolph, there's 3.
Are we assuming that Bridgewater is the starter there?
No, he is the starter there, man.
Look, he's not right now, but let's keep in mind that the person in front of him is Matt Castle. Now, I may know a thing or two about Matt Castle and his capabilities, and I'm fairly certain that Teddy Bridgewater will beat him out before week 1.
Hence why I'm saying that he is the starter. It's Matt Castle. Matt fucking Castle. That's the guy in his way? Sorry. No, and Bridgewater has actually looked good so far in the preseason. I know the preseason is preseason. It is what it is, but if they're smart, this guy's ready to go take the helm and go take over the block. And I'm with you, Peter. In fact, I'm actually thinking that Greg Jennings is one of the most underrated receivers that you can get really, really late in drafts, and Bridgewater has the arm to be able to throw it to him.
Right.
I bet you Matt Castle starts at least 2 games.
He could. Maybe he could, but I mean, I think that's the wrong move on the part of the Vikings.
I mean, and that doesn't make Bridgewater not a sleeper. I mean, you're not going to draft Teddy Bridgewater to start in week 1. But,
well, you should shit not drafting Matt Castle.
but at the same time, I mean, how much of a sleeper how big a league do you have to be in for him to be a sleeper or worth drafting?
He may not get drafted in some
No, he won't at all.
If you're not in a 12-team league or deeper, you either have to be in a 2-quarterback league or in a 12 to 14 team league to where he may even get drafted. Pretty plain and simple. But I think
I think it's got to be
like 14-team leagues or 2-quarterback leagues. He could be a valuable commodity to you. In fact, I kind of like Teddy Bridgewater more than I like somebody like Russell fucking Wilson. I just don't like Russell Wilson this year.
And but you know Russell Wilson's going to be a starter. You know Russell Wilson's going to be a starter, and you know his team's going to.
I don't like the value that you're going to get back. So the value that you're going to put in to get Russell Wilson versus the value that you could put in to get Teddy Bridgewater is a huge difference for what could pay off.
Phil, would you take Russell Wilson as your number 1 fantasy quarterback?
Probably not, but there's very few situations I'd be in where I had to.
So if you're gonna,
he's the 14th quarterback off the board, so I would have a choice between drafting, him or Cutler or Romo or Rivers or somebody like that. So no, I would take those guys in the order of Cutler, Romo, Rivers, Wilson, and all of them should be available.
Can we also bring up the fact of why in the fuck is Jay Cutler so underrated? He's got 2 of the top 10. He's got 2 of the top wide receivers in the top 10.
He's had them.
And a couple pretty good tight ends.
The guy throws 30 fucking touchdowns almost every fucking year.
Yeah, but
meanwhile,
somebody 25 picks to go with it.
Who gives a shit? It's -2.
I do, because it counts when you're needing points from your quarterback and he gets you -4 instead of 16 the next week.
Here's what I need you to do for next week's show. I want you to go look up fantasy points by Russell Wilson and then fantasy points by Jay Cutler and see who came out with more. I guarantee you it was probably Jay Cutler. And fantasy points in the end is all that matters, right?
Jay Cutler falls into that same argument as Matt Ryan. Well, why isn't Matt Ryan a sexy pick? He's got all these weapons. Weapons are great, but you have to be able to put up points without taking points off the board.
And Brock D wouldn't have because Cutler only started like 9 games last year.
Who knows? He may have still outscored fucking Russell Wilson.
That could be true. That could be true. But yeah, no, I agree that Bridgewater could be somebody that came up, but you're going to have to be in a 16-team league before he's ever going to get drafted. He's 27th overall, so I mean, there's going to be 14-team leagues where he doesn't go because not everyone's going to take 2 quarterbacks.
Here's my other point. One last time going back to my Jay Cutler bandwagon, he's got the best offensive line that he's ever seen in his career. Some of the years prior, he hasn't had a fantastic offensive line. This year, it's as good as it's ever been for him. And continue on about your lives.
All right. Let's hear about your running backs.
Moving on. So one of the names that I've been looking at is the 49ers running back Carlos Hyde. He's had a really good preseason. He's been taking all the first-team reps. Frank Gore is probably like 108 years old now.
31.
So, well, we all know how 30-year-old running backs do in the league. At some point,
Sean Alexander, fantastic.
Yeah, and the year after that.
Glad I took him in the first round. Number 2 overall pick, I'll take Sean Alexander, and he'll die.
So you're starting to see Carlos Hyde try to move up on a lot of draft boards, but he's still, middle of the pack, end of the road. But there is some value. So keep an eye on him in the next couple of preseason games to see how he does. If he continues to start in the number 1 spot and perform, I mean, he averaged, I think, 8 yards a carry on 9 carries. or 8 carries last week. So
Who
pretty
was the
solid
backup
performance.
Who was the backup there that got hurt? Because it was Frank Gore's
Well,
backup.
no,
that went out for the season.
there's two of them. LaMichael James is out for a little while, and Kendall Hunter, I believe, is out.
Kendall
for the
Hunter,
season.
he's out for the season.
Yeah, Kendall Hunter's out for the season. LaMichael James, I think, is going to miss a few weeks.
They've
Well, I
also
mean,
got
like,
Marcus Lattimore there, but he's probably still not ready to come
And
out.
he's still, he's back working out again, but he's not back from that gruesome, nasty injury he had last year at college.
Like Kendall Hunter was the big vulture as far as who you thought was going to get the second-hand carries after Gore. So with him being out for the season, I could absolutely see how Carlos Hyde could be the guy that's going to start getting some carries. Could be a good late handcuff, although I don't believe in handcuffing running backs anymore, but could be a good late-round flyer. I can see that as definitely be a breakout candidate.
Yeah, Hyde is definitely an interesting guy to watch. The weird thing about Gore, though, is, he's older, but he rarely misses time.
He's one of the fewest guys of that
Steady.
draft class that's still around. Really, it's just him and Ronnie Brown that are left from that draft class.
And,
Ronnie
really,
Brown's not even a starter.
I was going to say, with Ronnie Brown, we're using the term around pretty loosely.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he basically, he gets water, and he warms up soup for the
Yeah,
coaches.
he gets to run laps with the guys.
Yeah. Brown, go
he-
run laps.
He makes a good rat tail towel to snap in the locker room, those kind of things. But that's about all he's good for these days.
All right, so I've got another real deep sleeper on this one. It's Trey Mason. You guys may remember him from his days at Auburn. He has now moved up to the second running back from St. Louis because Isaiah Pate has gone down for a season injury, an ACL injury. And I don't understand the love affair with Zach Stacy. I don't get it. The guy averaged 3.6 yards per carry last year and only had 8 touchdowns.
Just volume, lots of volume.
Yeah, pure volume at that point. I don't think that he's putting up any sort of killer stats, but you know that they're just gonna murder that. They're just gonna constantly run the ball, and he can't get any worse, right? I mean, the bad part that I would say about Zach Stacy is that he's playing in such a tough defensive division. You won't see him on my team in any league, but I mean, I get where you're coming from. I won't be drafting a St. Louis running back this year.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess I'm a little partial towards Stacy because he was a waiver wire pickup in your league last year and was one of the big reasons that I made the playoffs and ended up winning the damn thing. But
You just had to get around to saying that, didn't you?
Yeah, name dropping.
But I don't know. I don't love running backs on shitty teams, and I don't think they're going to be anything past shitty. And Peter, I do like that you said you may remember Trey Mason from his the good old days at Auburn, which was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And he just played in the national title game in January, or I guess it was January. And anyway, but yeah, Isaiah Pete is gone, so. Trey Mason's going to get some action, and he certainly seems to be talented enough to do something with it. So we'll see. He's a one Zach Stacy injury away from getting 20 carries a game.
All right, let's move on to some wide receivers. I went with the younger kids in the wide receiver sleeper group. One of the names that I've been looking at a lot recently is Jordan Matthews, rookie coming out for the Eagles. Now, Deshaun Jackson's gone, and Mackham's coming off an injury, and they're obviously going to throw the ball around a lot, so this could be somebody. He's a big target. He's shown a lot of flash in the early going in preseason, so he may be somebody to keep an eye out for.
I think I'm going to have to disagree on this one. There's just too many mouths to feed out there right now. I'm not going to say that he's not going to be worthwhile, but I just don't see him as being a draftable candidate unless you're playing in a no-kickers league and you want to take him as a late round, last-round flyer. I mean, between Riley Cooper and Macklin and Ertz and everybody else that's already on that offense. I mean, I know that
you forgot about LaShawn McCoy and Darren Sproles.
Right. Between LaShawn McCoy and Darren Sproles, I also think that I think that Foles also sees a regression this year because people have actually seen him for a great amount of time. I do like Foles, but I just don't see him putting up the monster numbers that he did during that 6 to 8 game stretch. If you look near the end of the season, he definitely regressed at the end of the season. I don't know if teams just started to figure him out or if they started to be able to figure out what he was doing or if he just flat out ran out of gas. I don't know. So I'm kind of out on a lot of the wide receivers for Philadelphia. The only person that you'll see me kind of buying into is Jeremy Macklin if I can get him at a cheap price because he is a wide receiver number one. Obviously, Darren Sproles and LaShawn McCoy are still good targets, but I am going to probably say, unless you're using the last pick of your draft to grab this guy, which at that point you're just buying a lottery ticket anyway, I say pass on him.
Yeah, and you're not taking him real early, but it could pay off. It's an offense that runs a lot of plays.
Yep.
Again, Macklin hasn't exactly demonstrated wonderful health his whole career. So again, it's one injury away from him being one of the better guys on the outside and one of the more explosive offenses.
All right, so let's go to the other side of the argument. There's too many mouths to feed in Philadelphia. Now there's not enough mouths to feed in Carolina. So Kelvin Benjamin, a big target rookie coming out. Where do you fall on that one, Brock?
I am 100% with you on this one. I think Kelvin Benjamin so far has looked like a monster. There's nobody else there. I'm not a huge fan of Cam Newton, but kind of like you were saying, I mean, it's got to go somewhere. And with Steve Smith gone and that offense probably going to struggle a little bit, I think he's going to see a lot of catches. The only thing that scares me about him is catches over the middle of the field that are going to have to be made for first downs, which he's probably going to be really, really relied on to do. So I'm worried about him being an injury risk just because of the heavy usage, but the guy's a beast. He's got great hands. He runs great routes. He's able to separate from the defensive backs. I really, really actually like Kelvin Benjamin a lot. If you're going to take somebody as a wide receiver number 3 or 4, even a 3 is kind of an uptick for this guy. I could see him being a wide receiver number 3 this year.
Okay, Jericho Cotchery, Jason Avant, Philly Brown, Brenton Burson, and Tyquan Underwood. Those are your other guys on the 3 deep at the wide receiver positions for the Panthers.
I'm sorry, all I heard was Kelvin Benjamin.
Right. So the point I'm trying to make here is Cam Newton, not a bad quarterback.
Not a great one either.
And well, he's black and fast and big. That's all 3.
Yeah, that's all your criteria, Phil.
I win. And no, my only argument here is I don't know if Kelvin Benjamin counts as a sleeper anymore. He's moved up draft boards to where I think his ADP is somewhere. I thought it was somewhere in like the 7th or 8th round now. So it's I believe a lot of people have jumped on that bandwagon, and I believe rightly so.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, if you can get him for value, he's a number 1. And at some point, you just have to kind of figure out that number 1s are number 1s. You have to take them for what they are. You may have to overpay for them at that point, but I mean, at some point, it's kind of worth it. I'm kind of pulling it up right now, trying to figure out where he's rated overall for wide receivers. So I got top 80 wide receivers there.
Research on the fly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to do too. I was trying to pull up an ADP just in the last couple of weeks and see where he sits because I don't think he even really comes up as a sleeper anymore.
Kelvin Benjamin on ESPN. Now this is an average draft position. Shows up at 66 overall.
So that's up quite a bit.
Yeah, wow, that's a 6th, 7th round pick. That's
no. I'm sorry. 66 receiver overall. No, that's super deep. That's deeper than deep. Now, granted, that was probably put out 3 or 4 weeks ago before everybody started jumping on the bandwagon. But I'm completely with you. I mean, at this point, if I could get Kelvin Benjamin for a 9th or a 10th round pick, I would jump all over it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going any higher than that, though. Honestly.
Yeah, he's been his ADP just since August 10th has gone up to where he is an 8th or 9th rounder.
Okay, I can't see myself getting him or paying for an 8th round for him. I can see myself paying for a 9th or 10th, but not an 8th.
He's going right around the same place as Seattle's defense: Eric Decker, Jay Cutler, Tony Romo, Terrence West, Bernard Pierce, Steven Jackson, Josh Gordon. Those kind of guys.
I'd rather have Cutler for that.
Well, it depends on your roster, right? I mean, if you get Peyton Manning, you wouldn't rather have Cutler.
There is a good argument for that.
I'd actually rather have Cutler because I'd rather get Cutler and then trade him for somebody. Because I think Cutler's going to be a top 6 quarterback this year.
Yeah, it depends on the league. Like, if you're in our big money league, you don't want to do that because the odds are no fuckers are going to trade with you.
Of course you will, because some dumbass is going to draft Russell Wilson, who's not going to run, who's going to throw 112
See,
yards
he's
a
not
fucking
big.
game.
He's just black. He's not.
It's a
He's
Russell
not big.
Wilson
He's
bias.
just black and fast.
I have a huge Russell Wilson bias because he doesn't score any fucking fantasy points.
You rushed
why
for
do you
2
hate
TDs
Russell
last
Wilson?
game.
Watch
Great.
him and
What, in the
what-
playoffs?
what's the-
He does all the
What's to
great
stop
things for your
Russell
fantasy
Wilson
team in
from
the
having
playoffs.
What's to stop him from having a huge year, though? I'm not saying he will. I'm saying he could.
No, I was referring to his last preseason game where he had 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half, or maybe it was the first
fantastic!
quarter.
Because the preseason counts for your team too, right?
Moving on. Travis Kelce for my Kansas City Chiefs has had a 69-yard touchdown and a 47-yard touchdown in the first 2 preseason games.
I have.
You
no
will
idea
have
who that
forgotten
is.
this guy's. You will have forgotten this guy's name by week 6.
I don't think so, and here's my argument for this. You may go back a week to our previous episode, which you weren't a part of, Phil, but shitty quarterbacks love good tight ends. And Alex Smith does
I
not have
agree
a
with
big
that.
enough arm to throw the ball 60 yards down the field. He can definitely throw it 15 and down the seam. So this is somebody that, I mean, if you look at the tight ends in the last week, he's probably jumped up another 30 slots just in the tight end ranking because nobody knew who he was because he was injured all last year, so he hasn't played a single game yet.
I will always say this. When it comes to tight ends in the Kansas City organization, I'm never going to doubt Peter because he was the same one. Who was the one that was from a couple years ago that you told me about?
That disappeared.
That disappeared. What was his name? He was like some weird Samoan name.
Maliuna,
Who was it, Peter? Do you
I have
remember?
no idea who you're
It
talking
was
about.
Niner.
If you're talking about the dude from Iowa, yeah, he's not in the league anymore.
No, I
Right.
know, but you told me about him way before the league started, or before the season started, and I was like, I don't no fucking idea who that guy is.
Crappy quarterbacks make tight end touchdown machines.
Man.
All right, so I've got another name on here, Levine.
Tony Moiaki.
Tony Moiaki.
Moriarty. And you told me about him like way before the season started. You're like, watch out for Moriarty. I was
Here's-
like, okay. And I didn't believe you, and then he came back to beat me in 2 different fantasy weeks.
Here's another name
And
for you, Levine Toilolo. Who is Levine Toilolo?
I have no idea who the fuck that guy is.
he's behind. Is it the Chargers?
Let me ask you another question. Who is the Falcons starting tight end? It's Levine Toilolo.
Oh, is it?
That's the
And for those of you
Okay,
who watched Hard Knocks last week, also saw him play. He
I-
played the ukulele to which song was it? Biz Marquis' "You Say He's Just
Oh.
a Friend."
Is that who that guy is? I
Yeah,
actually
he-
did just watch that earlier today.
6'8", 265.
He's tall as
He-
shit.
And he can play the shit out of a ukulele.
Yeah, well, all that matters is he plays for the Atlanta Falcons, and they have
Nope.
a tight end.
Nope, incorrect. The point is that he can play the ukulele, therefore he's cool by me. Draft him.
Nobody's going to be
Draft-
drafting him, so
No,
just
no one's
keep an
going.
eye on him. Somebody has to play tight end for the Falcons.
Well,
Apparently,
and you know,
this
it's
guy.
not like Matt Ryan has played a single down without a fantastic tight end. So you think that he's going to go after his tight end at some point? Yeah, you know he's going to do his dump off thing. The only thing I'm going to throw in there is that they're actually putting Roddy White into that same play that Tony Gonzalez used to do, where he ran the actual same route. So don't be surprised if Roddy White eats into a little bit of his.
That was the worst description ever. That play that we used to run where he runs the same route.
It's the Tony Gonzalez play.
I thought
Literally,
you were going to do one of these.
It's
The Tony
a-
Gonzalez play.
It's a 7-Eleven route is the best way to describe it. You guys play football back in your day?
He's always open.
Okay,
Got it.
whatever. 7-Eleven route. If you guys ever played football ever in your life, you know what I'm talking about. So move
You're an
on.
idiot.
Okay.
You obviously had too big of a head to be able to fit a fucking helmet because you have no idea what I'm talking about.
There's a certain grouping of players I always like to look at every year, and it's the guys that are coming up on their end of their contracts. So I took a look at the list of guys who are in their contract year, and I came up with the all-contract year team. So the only real quarterback that kind of stands out is somebody who's waiting to see what their next quarterback looks like that's got any decent value would be Alex Smith.
I know where he's going, by the way. You know where he's going? London. Yeah. You know why? He's not any good. He's not good.
So he's already made like $70 million in the league.
And he's not good. That's
And
terrible.
He's
And
probably
he's
going
not
to get
good.
another $80 to $90 million.
Who is going to pay for him? Honestly, who is going to pay for Alex Smith?
The Chiefs, because they have no other option.
I thought Matt Ryan was a free agent after this year, or was that last year?
No, he's a free agent after. No, they re-signed him, didn't they? I thought they re-signed him to like a mega deal.
He was not listed under the end of contract year. But Alex Smith was the biggest name. Jake Locker was also on that list, but I don't think they're re-sign him unless he goes up this year.
Yeah, they
that
re-signed.
must have been last year. I was thinking. Yeah, that must have been last year. I was thinking.
No, they did. They re-signed Matt Ryan to a 5-year contract extension for more than $100 million.
Well, that's bullshit. It's not more than $100 million. He'll never.
Well, that's
get more
what-
than $100 million.
Well, I mean, but that's
the maximum it would be if he won like the
That's
Super
what they
Bowl.
report. Yeah.
If he won the Super Bowl and the MVP every year. I love it how they always.
Christ.
I love it that NFL people always report complete bullshit numbers.
Well, they always want to show whatever the big contract number is. You know, Tom Brady signed a 3-day, $450 billion deal.
Yeah, I love it that like
support ALS and dumped 450 gallons of ice water on his chest.
like Andy Dalton's contract that they said was 134. He'll probably make less than 70 of that.
Oh, poor baby.
Cry me a river.
I feel so bad for the ginger.
I don't feel bad for him. I'm just saying it's inaccurate reporting. That's all.
I think he has to win like 6 Super Bowls to make his max contract.
No, but he can do that.
6 straight Super Bowls and at least be runner-up as the MVP every year.
Good luck with that.
Right.
The running backs that fall under the end of their contract life cycle is DeMarco Murray and Mark Ingram. Those were two of the bigger names that I came up with.
And Ingram. Oh, go ahead, Peter.
You guys have already heard my part about DeMarco Murray. I think the Cowboys are going to be playing from behind. I think he's going to have a better year than Marshawn Lynch. It's a contract year. I don't think he comes back to Dallas. I think Dallas is going to figure out what they have in Ryan Williams if they keep him on and try to move on. I think DeMarco Murray could be the next New York Giants running back, honestly, next year.
I don't think that them playing from behind helps him. I think them playing from behind helps Terrence Williams, Des Bryant, and Tony Romo.
Well, I'm with you with that, but at the same time, but remember that when teams are in 2nd and 15 and 2nd and 20 and 3rd and 20, they do a lot of draw plays where all the actual defensive backs fall back, and then all of a sudden he's the type of guy that can break those 15 and 20-yard runs.
Yeah, I mean, DeMarco's the bigger ticket here, but Mark Ingram's been a guy who's also been injured, and the whole Saints running back situation is in flux. So if anybody's going to rise to the top, you'd think it'd be somebody who has money on the line. So I'd be interested to see what happens with Mark Ingram in the draft.
And in a PPR league, Mark Ingram is a beast. I mean, did anybody sneakily see how many passes he caught last year?
I didn't sneakily do it.
Yeah, it is.
And I also didn't really do it.
He caught 80 passes last year.
I thought that was Pierre Thomas.
Maybe that was Pierre Thomas. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, Ingram was pretty good, Nick.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure.
You're right. Yeah, that's Pierre Thomas. My bad. Hey, you know what? One black guy is the same as another one on that.
Not true and mostly racist. No.
One of them's French.
Okay, you're right. One French black guy is completely different than another one.
This is what happens when you sneakily look up stats. You get them wrong. So just take your time and look them up the right way.
Well, I don't know how to do that. I don't really have hands that work, and I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
There's a lot of big wide receivers with tickets coming up. So Des Bryant, Randall Cobb, Michael Crabtree, Torrey Smith, Demaryius Thomas, and Jeremy Maclin all have contracts coming up.
Wow.
So I'd say if you can get your hands on it. And who loves money more than wide receivers?
And the crazy thing is I think all of these guys have a career year. Des Bryant will have a career year. Randall Cobb could have a career year. Obviously, he had one big year, then lost to injury. Michael Crabtree, if people don't see him as the number one wide receiver there, Anquan Bolden is 30,000 years old. Torrey Smith is getting Dennis Pitta back. They added Steve Smith. He won't see double coverage in the red zone. He had the 2nd highest yards per catch last year behind Josh Gordon.
Yep.
Demaryius Thomas plays with a quarterback who can throw 44 billion touchdowns. And Jeremy Maclin is going to be the number one receiver for Nick Foles, who likes to throw the ball deeper than anybody else can throw their balls.
Wait a minute.
Wait, just say balls deep.
Balls deep. I said it on purpose.
Deep.
Foles balls deep.
I would like to point out something that our beloved producer David Dukes just pointed out to me. Aaron said he had all this work stuff and the red pants issue and couldn't come to the show, and is currently sharing things on Facebook about Comic-Con. That's one of the fires he had to put out on work was, I need to post some nerdy shit on Facebook.
That's awesome.
What an asshole.
I can't wait for trivia.
Hey, a phone is ringing. Who's on that phone? It's Michael Crabtree.
Wow. Wow.
All right,
All right.
Peter, finish this up.
We got tight ends to cover. There's only a couple. Actually, there's couple decent tight ends on this list. Jordan Cameron, Julius Thomas, and Kyle Rudolph.
Wow.
So there's three guys that are looking to get paid too. And the funny thing is, when you look at, there's two guys on that list that both play for the Broncos. It's gonna be interesting to see how they get their time in with Peyton Manning, making sure they get their receptions coming into contract years.
Yeah, the Thomas twins. The Tomai. Yeah. So yeah.
I really like
I
Jordan
agree.
Cameron. This year, I love Jordan Cameron.
Shitty quarterback.
Well, he played with Hoyer last year. I mean,
That's
that
what I'm saying. They like tight ends.
I mean, yeah.
That's my argument.
Even if Manziel comes in and looks shitty, which, to be fair, I want to be honest with you guys. Monday, I think it was Monday, when the Browns played, I think, whoever the fuck they played.
Redskins?
That's offensive, Peter. Call them the native peoples.
Phil, we have lost your entire face.
Look at your eyebrows.
Monday was the first time I've actually ever seen Johnny Manziel play a down of football, like ever. I had never seen him throw. I had never seen him run because I don't pay attention to college because I think it's for stupid people.
You've really got to watch college football. It's pretty.
No, I tried to do that, and you know what? I figured out in the end. I did a little bit of math, and I figured out that college plus everything else is stupid. So I just like to watch where people get paid to play, and Phil disappears. And watching Johnny Manziel, he didn't look that great. He was like throwing the ball 5 yards ahead of his receiver. He didn't have fantastic read options. He just kind of looked, honestly, mediocre. He didn't blow me away. I didn't think he was great. And
is he supposed to blow you away? What quarterback blows you away in their second preseason game of their rookie year?
Robert Griffin III. Robert Griffin III blew me away in his second preseason game.
I doubt that. That would have been maybe a second regular season game.
Well, even in his preseason game, he looked dynamic. Johnny Manziel looks fucking average.
I like that he gave the sideline the finger during the game. That was pretty smart.
Yeah. Apparently it was. Yeah. I don't know. Who knows what they were saying?
But he gives off because there's no way he didn't think a camera was on him during.
Well, the best part of that was when their PR, the look on his face when the PR guy told him he got caught on camera doing it. And
it was on Twitter like a second later.
Yeah, it was hilarious. He's got to pull his head out of his ass. And I realized that they're probably realizing who he is and what spotlight he is in and trying to get a rise out of him and saying things that are even worse than what they would normally say. But come on. You got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of Jordan Cameron, Julius Thomas. Obviously, if you're drafting, then me personally, I'm actually downgrading Julius Thomas a little bit this year. I don't see Peyton Manning repeating 55 touchdowns plus 9 of his 12 touchdowns came in the red zone. I think obviously some of those other looks could go to other players, including Monty Ball or obviously Thomas or the other Thomas or Welker or Emmanuel Sanders for that point. I think 9 of his 12 touchdowns coming within the 10-yard line, it's not going to be repeatable. That's not a sustainable stat. And then Kyle Rudolph, he
I don't know if that offense is pretty good.
No, I'm with you, but I just don't see 55 touchdowns being repeatable.
Toilolo.
All right, boys, help me out. I've got the 14th pick in my touchdown-heavy league. Who am I taking?
14th overall?
14th overall.
Is that, and that's not, you said it's almost touchdown only?
Yeah, I mean, it's heavy on touchdowns.
How many quarterbacks do you think will be gone?
3 or 4.
Okay, our touchdowns for quarterbacks 6 points or 4?
4.
Okay.
Ugh.
So I
in
got I
your-
technically got picks 14 and 15. I'm looking at running back.
I mean, what if you want to go running back? Your best options are going to be like
It was
Monty-
gonna be
Monty
Ball
Ball
and
and Eric
Bell.
Foster. Yeah, and now you've been downgraded from Bell to like Foster or Bernard.
So my thinking is if I don't take Doug Martin at 15, I'll never see him again.
But do you want Doug Martin?
I'm thinking that maybe a bounce back year for Doug Martin.
Why wouldn't you take like Ball and AJ Green or Brandon Marshall or Julio Jones or something?
AJ Green will probably be gone. Marshall will be there, but I don't like Brandon Marshall this year.
What about Drew Brees at that point?
I've seen Breeze at that spot, so I've done Breeze and Ball.
Okay. Breeze
Why-
and Ball will be interesting.
Well, what about Brees and Graham at that point?
Graham won't be there.
Graham will be gone. Graham will be long
I've
gone.
seen Graham as high as 3 in some of these drafts that I've been doing.
He scored what 16 touchdowns last year in a
Yeah.
touchdown heavy league. Then
Yeah.
If I could do Breeze and Graham, because the guy had him last year, I mean, he killed it. Because I think they finished like 3 and 7 in total points in this league.
yeah,
Honestly, man, it'd be hard for me to tell you at that point if they're both available to not go Brees and DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, Murray may be there. I've seen Murray there a couple times, but I think it may be Murray and Ball.
Or you may
If you can get Brees, though, man, sure touchdown volume would be worth it.
Murray and Ball is pretty good. Or if you get one of the stud wide receivers, if either
I
Demarius
just
Dez
hate
or
Ball,
AJ
man.
Green falls to there.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind, though, that Ball had that job to lose last year, and he managed to lose it. I just can't trust the guy, especially with a first overall pick.
Well, he
That's
It's
your
still
season.
14. It's still 14 now.
But it's your
So.
season, and you have one pick that you can go make for your first overall pick. Why not take somebody who's going to take DeMarco Murray's job? Who's going to take it? Nobody.
Injury?
Monty Ball. Well, yeah, same thing could happen
Lance
to Monty
Dunbar?
Ball.
his kneecap. Yeah.
But same thing could happen to Monty Ball. Monty Ball just couldn't hang on to the goddamn ball, and
Yeah,
that's
but-
why he
but-
lost the job.
But to me, I would take Murray over Ball too. Don't get me wrong, but if Murray's gone and you feel like you need a running
Yeah,
back
I mean-
because of the touchdown situation, I get
What,
that.
what about
Hey,
this name? Giovanni Bernard.
I love Giovanni Bernard this year. But is it a point per reception league at all?
Nope.
I don't know, man.
Touchdown
You know he's
heavy.
going to score touchdowns. You
I
know
would
that's what
suggest
he's
not
gonna do.
playing in leagues with shitty scoring systems. Would be my suggestion.
This is
Well,
a
I
good
mean,
one.
that's
So
what he does.
the
Hey,
thing
you know
is
what I would almost tell you to do, Peter? I would almost tell you to go Drew Brees and Julius Thomas.
No, I'm not taking Julius Thomas. It's 15.
Yeah.
Okay,
My
let me ask
concern
you,
is
let
if
me-
I
let
don't
me ask
take
you a
two
question.
running
Hang on,
backs.
hang on. Let me ask you a question real quick. Who scores more touchdowns, Julius Thomas or DeMarco Murray?
Yeah, Julius Thomas isn't going to have a bunch of 100-yard receiving games, though.
Yeah.
Is that a bonus point for you?
Yeah, you get bonus points for 100-yard games.
Okay, so then explain your situation before being such a prick.
I'm just going to do this instead.
Okay, fair enough.
So, yeah, I mean, the thing is that I'm looking at if I don't take at least 2 running backs, the picture looked really bleak coming back. So you
Yeah.
have maybe Ray Rice. You have a lot of question marks coming back to you. So if you don't get at least one decent running back, you're hosed. So, like, if
Yeah.
I did that, say if I did Jimmy Graham, say for whatever reason Jimmy Graham and Drew Brees are there, it's going to be a shit fest for running backs coming
So
back.
you're looking around pick. You wouldn't pick again till what?
48,
Yep.
48, 49. You're looking at Trent Richardson, Toby Gerhart, Ray Rice. Now, I'll tell you, dude, I really like Rashad Jennings for the Giants this year. I really like
I
him
mean,
a
that's
lot.
your Bishop Sankey, Frank Gore,
Chris Johnson, Steven Jackson. Now, honestly, dude, if you could come back in round 2 or round 3 and 4 and grab Rashad Jennings and Steven Jackson and be just fine.
Having those guys as your number 2 isn't awful.
But if you had a pair of them, it wouldn't be awful either. I mean, if you ended up taking A.J. Green and Drew Brees for your 14th and 15th, and then you came back around and you got Rashad Jennings and Chris Johnson, that's not terrible, man. You know the Jets are going to have to run the ball because they got fucking Geno Smith.
I think I'd still rather have Murray and Ball and take my chances with
Oh,
a
God.
Nick
Over-
Foles
over-
or a Tom Brady in rounds 3 or 4.
Receiver is pretty deep. I don't know.
Receiver is deep. I mean, but A.J. Green, you're saying that you get bonus points for 100 yards. You're
Yeah.
looking at somebody who could get it almost every single week. I mean,
Yeah,
he could have the Michael Irvin 1,100-yard, receiving games that year. He's that type of receiver.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know what happens in the following week. I'll have a breakdown of how hammered I got and what I ended up taking, so you'll be happy to find out about all that.
Well, hey guys, I want to throw a shout out real quick if it's okay with you guys. I want to throw a shout out to Messing with Telemarketers. It's something that my brother does on Facebook. He was kind enough to alert all of his 3,500 followers to tune into our show tonight. So if you guys get a second, go to Facebook and type in Messing with Telemarketers or Messing with Telemarketers. Obviously, he was nice enough to alert all of his fans to our show. So if you haven't checked it out yet, man, I'll be honest with you, it's probably one of the funniest things I've ever read in my life. I was actually at a doctor's appointment, giggling, waiting for the doctor to show up, trying to not laugh out loud. So if you haven't looked at it, go take a look. It's some pretty funny shit, and I appreciate my brother for doing that, so thank you, bro. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, emails, comments, feel free to send us anything that you want, whether it be fantasy advice, shit you want us to talk about on the show. Our email is ytspodcast@gmail.com. Other than that, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about this week?
Fuck Aaron for being on Facebook instead of doing the show. I at least had a good reason last week.
Fuck you, you weren't here last week, so you guys
Yeah.
I wasn't here last week for a good reason. I had fucking homework.
Oh.
Peter, you and I are winners. High five, winner.
Not all of us went to college the first time.
I didn't go to college anytime.
Oh, shit. Well, it's been fun talking sports with two upstanding gentlemen such as yourselves. I hope you have a lovely week. And to both of you listeners out there, go fuck yourself.
See you guys next week, Wednesday at 9.
Later.
Your team sucks.
Welcome to Your Team Sucks with your hosts, Brock,
And I got my hair did for free by the stylist.
Aaron,
Tell me more about this Starlin Castro. Any relation to Fidel?
Phil,
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
and Peter.
Who haven't we offended yet? Just make a list of that. It's probably a shorter list.
Enjoy the show, bitches.